morning, everyone. I'm Lynn Sametta, the mayor of Huntington Beach, and I'm here this morning with some members of our Huntington Beach Interfaith Council to talk to you a little bit about what's going on in Huntington Beach and across the world. We are dealing with the coronavirus epidemic and how that's affecting our community. So we just wanted to talk to you today a little bit about we are all in this together. You know, we are one Huntington Beach. We're going to get through this together. We're going to be helping each other out. You're going to be talking to some of the people from the Interfaith Network today that are going to tell you about some of the things they're doing to make us all feel connected, to make us feel safe. And I think what I want to say to everyone today is that's what's the most important in the midst of all of this, is to stay connected. Stay in touch with especially the seniors, people that are alone right now, and we can't be together in person, but you know, we can be together by phone, by email, teach people how to use FaceTime and things like that where they can really feel connected. It's going to make us all feel better. And I want to reassure you from the city how prepared we are. We have an excellent public safety department, our fire, our police, our emergency services really are doing an excellent job, just working 16-hour days, making sure that our community is prepared for anything that's going to come our way. We have networks out there that are going to get you what you need. I know it's a frightening time, but we will get through this together, and I want you to reach out to the city. If there's something that you need, we have a website. It's hbready.com. There's all the resources on there that you might need. We have people answering the phones as well. If you have a question you're not getting answered somewhere else, so reach out. We are there for you.
Hi, I'm Steve Einstein, founding Rabbi Emeritus of Congregation B'nai Tzedek in Fountain Valley, which serves Fountain Valley, Huntington Beach, and the surrounding communities. I'm also one of the founders and a past president of the Greater Huntington Beach Interfaith Council. This is a very difficult time for all of us. The word we keep hearing is unprecedented, and I think that's very accurate. None of us has ever lived through something like this. It's a frightening time. So who do we have to turn to? We have one another. I really believe that God is present with us as we reach out to one another. Now, obviously, we have to care for ourselves. The great sage Hillel, who lived some 2,100 years ago, phrased it this way. He said, "If I am not for myself, who will be for me?" So we do have to take care of ourselves and our immediate family. But Hillel went on and asked the next question, "And if I am only for myself, what am I?" That's the challenge of this time. Who are we and how are we relating to the realities we have to face? And he concluded, if not now, when? This is the time. I'm reminded of a story of a group of people on a deep lake in a small boat. And suddenly one of the passengers on the boat takes out a drill and starts to drill on the seat below himself. And everyone starts yelling. And he says, "What are you excited about? I'm only drilling under my own seat." We are all in the same boat. Let's not forget that. I'd like to conclude with a prayer of hope during this pandemic. It was written by Rabbi Naomi Levy, who's a wonderful Southern California liturgist. We are frightened, God, worried for our loved ones, worried for our world, helpless and confused. We turn to you, seeking comfort, faith, and hope. Teach us, God, to turn our panic into patience and our fear into acts of kindness and support. Our strong must watch out for our weak. Our young must take care of our old. Help each one of us to do our part to halt the spread of this virus. Send strength and courage to to the doctors and nurses in the front lines of this battle. Fortify them with the full force of their healing powers. Send wisdom and insight to the scientists working day and night across the world to discover healing treatments. Bless their efforts, God. Fill our leaders with the wisdom and the courage to choose wisely and act quickly. Help us, God, to see that we are one world, one people who will rise above this pandemic together. Send us health, God. Watch over us. Grace us with your love. Bless us with your healing light. Hear us, God. Heal us, God. And let us all say, Amen.
Hi, this is Emrah Erdogan from Pacific Institute and Muslim community in Huntington Beach. So I would like to start from Quran that God says, saving one life is as if saving whole humanity. As Muslims, it's our duty to look out for our community and neighbors, especially for the vulnerable ones. Remember, Prophet Muhammad says, he is not a believer whose stomach is filled while the neighbor is, his side goes hungry. As Muslims, we are here to help our neighbors and to our community. Also, we can consider these days as an opportunity to call our friends, neighbors, and family members to support each other. Also, in particular, to my Muslim friends, we can benefit from following stay-at-home order to get ready for the holy month of Ramadan and read more Quran and spend more time on practicing our daily worships. So, on another thing is we can do to pray God for all humanity and our community with a grieving heart through our supplication. I would like to have another prayer that may God, the most compassionate, save humanity from this pandemic, cure those who are ill, and give perseverance to those who lost their loved ones. May Allah help to our government officials, health workers, and volunteers who are fighting against this pandemic. So do your part by following the guidelines and wash your hands frequently and follow the 6 feet social distancing. We are together in these difficult times and we should support each other.
Hi, I'm James Pike, pastor of Lutheran Church of the Resurrection and part of the Greater Huntington Beach Interfaith Council. And we wanted to say that if you're a person of faith, we hope that the resources of your faith will help you during this time. If you're not a person of faith, we hope just that you're a person of goodwill and that you understand with us that being part of a community is all of us in this together in one HB. I know out of my faith tradition I can say at least two things. One is we can acknowledge the reality of the situation we're in, that it is a dire situation. It could potentially get worse. Faith is not a kind of escapism. Faith allows us to have the resources to navigate wisely and lovingly some very difficult things that deal with issues of living and potentially even of dying. The other thing we can say, though, out of our faith tradition, and I think many of the others represented in our community, is difficult situations don't change our deepest held values. When I think of being a Christian, I think, for example, during the season of Lent, about Jesus and his cross. Even though it's a time of suffering, a time of loneliness, even a time of death, Jesus is grounded in love, forgiveness, vulnerability. Whenever an angel comes to someone in the New Testament, they always say the same thing: do not be afraid. It doesn't mean that situations aren't difficult, but it means we can navigate them with courage. Not to be afraid of our situation, not to be afraid of our neighbors, not to be afraid of people who are different than we are. I think one of the things that we can think about during this season of Lent, at least for my tradition, is the idea of return. How do I use this time of being at home or with my family to return to the deeper meaning of my life, the deeper meaning of the relationships I have? One thing I want to counsel anybody against is blame. Sometimes in our fear we blame other people for why we are the way we are or where we've come to. If you want to investigate any kind of moral meaning of what's happening, investigate it in yourself. Consider your own actions. Consider who you are and what you're doing and the person you want to be, and ground that in our deepest held values as Americans or out of your faith. I do want to say that the Greater Huntington Beach Interfaith Council is working with the City of Huntington Beach to be able to provide extra capacity to those who may be most affected by this pandemic, including older people or people who are isolated. You'll be hearing more about that, about ways that volunteers can potentially connect with checking in with their neighbors who may be older, or even providing food that those who are vulnerable need. We're in this together, we're one HB. Whether you're a person of faith or not a person of faith, we hope you'll join us in navigating this with a kind of fearlessness and love. You know, some people are asking, what can I do during this time of being at home or having more time away from my work or where I normally go? I can tell you some ladies that are in our church have been making these at home. They all have a pattern they've been sharing, and as they knit or crochet, they've been praying. And then after they pray, these will be gifts that are given to those who are isolated or sick once we feel it's safe to share them. So maybe you'll become crafty, maybe you'll take up something that you lost from your youth, playing an instrument or creating something, but don't lose this opportunity to be a creative agent in the world as we find our daily routines changed and altered. So this is a cool way some ladies are doing it, but maybe you'll find a special way for you to do it too.
We can spend our time worrying about what we see and hear that is going on around us, or focus on the many silver linings in our lives. We live in a wonderful community, over 75 parks, 9 miles of pristine beach, golf courses, an equestrian center, award-winning schools and teachers. Our ecological reserves, our urban forest, our Huntington Harbor water-oriented community are part of the core of our lifestyle, community character, and the very fabric of this city. We have been recognized as a happy city, and that has won awards for how we raise our children, how we treat our pets. Now is a time to measure up, to see how we, in fact, treat each other, particularly in times of stress, real or perceived present and future.
Thank you for watching. This moment was made possible by a donation from Huntington Beach Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram on behalf of the Greater Huntington Beach Interfaith Council.